Good morning, everybody. This is Scott with EMX. We also have Emery on with us today, assisting with this. Emery is our marketing manager, so he's going to be controlling the slides, and I'm going to be presenting to you today about the RET. So, Emery, I think it's safe. We can go ahead and get started. So, a couple little things just to mention for everybody, since we do have so many people on the line. There is a chat box. Feel free to throw some chats out. I probably won't get to answering any of those questions till the end, but do stay till the end. We'll have a quick Q&A session, and then also be able to answer any chats that you guys throw out through the course of the webinar. So real quick, before we get started, I'm sure most of you are aware of who we are since you're logging on this webinar, but just always a good thing to remind everybody where we're at. So EMX was founded a little bit over 30 years ago. The entire time we have been making access control sensors for the gate, the overhead door industry, the car wash industry, drive-through industry, parking industry, and many more other industries. But those are the main ones that we design products for today. And the other thing is, most of these products, if not all of them, and especially the product that we're going to be talking about today, the RET, are made in America. So we manufacture and design these sensors right in Cleveland, Ohio. And for anybody that's ever in the area, please reach out. You have an open invitation. We love it when someone comes in and tours the plant and the factory to see how all these products are made. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the RET Photoeye sensor and why we believe it's the only Photoeye sensor that you need on your truck or on your shelves. So the RET is a retroreflective Photoeye sensor, and under UL325, that's considered a entrapment protection device type B1. The RET provides universal solution for entrapment protection. It's one Photoeye that covers the entire spectrum of possible requirements for monitored and non-monitored Photoeyes. So what this does is, by having a Photoeye with everything built in, it's going to simplify your inventory management and also your product training. So who did we design this for? So typically, if you go back to EMX's roots, we always design first for the installer in mind, but we also design for our distributors in mind too, because we're all out there servicing the same market, trying to get the same job done. So why is the RET important for installers? Well, it's a one universal retroreflective Photoeye. So for when you have the application for areas that you don't want to dig up the driveway or run power to both sides, this is going to be your most powerful retroreflective Photoeye on the market. Because we do sell it in kit form, it comes with everything you need for that sensor. So it reduces inventory on your truck, it reduces SKU and part numbers. You don't have to get out the job site and realize that you forgot to buy a hood or another accessory device, because it all comes in one kit. On top of that, it has all of the UL monitoring methods built in today. In addition to, you can also use it in non-monitored applications as well. And for the distributors, it mirrors pretty much the same thing. So if you've noticed here a couple of years ago, we did kit this product. So all of the parts are in one kit. So you have one SKU number on the shelf in a box that has the orange and gray EMX. One thing to remind all the distributors out there is, if you ever have a quick question or you need to know the capability of the sensor, we list everything on that box. So you can take a quick look at it and talk to your customers about it, but all of the device applications and accessories are listed on that box. There's also a QR code on that box that's going to take you right to the manual and product page on the website. So the RET comes in a complete kit, and what comes in that kit? We get that question all the time. So it does come with your hood, it comes with your mounting brackets, it comes with the reflector lens and the reflector O hood. So everything in one box. So now we're going to get into a little bit of the key features. So key features, one being a retroreflective Photoeye. You don't need to make that cut across the roadway or driveway or entry area to install power on the other side. The other thing is, we do have a very nice potentiometer sensor for adjustment to increase the intensity of the beam or decrease it. And this is going to come into play later on when we start talking about some tips and tricks on how to make this sensor perform its best in the field. So this sensor does function very good in the sun, the rain, the snow, and the fog. And the reason for that is we designed it with a very robust NEMA 4 housing and enclosure. And we recognize that the need for durability and high reliability entrapment protection applications. So when we designed it, we did design it to minimize any type of fogging and false triggering. So this is the most powerful retroreflective photoeye on the market. We've done many tests and studies to prove that. One thing that you can see here is it is almost 83% longer range than anything else out on the market. So with this powerful photoeye, you can get up to 60 feet of operation range in the field. So we'll talk a little bit about the monitoring devices. So one thing that we've done is we've built in all of the monitoring devices that you need in the field. Normally closed, 10K resistive termination, 2-wire pulse, 2-wire pulse 3 frequency, and 4-wire pulse 2 and 3 frequency. This is very important to know. So most of the times you get out in the field, especially on a service call, you might not know what you're going to be encountering out in that field, or if that device is monitored. And if it is monitored, you know, what type of monitoring method are they using? We'll have to know that based on the device or the operator when you get to the field, but we have everything built in for you. And it's pretty easy once you get familiar with it. We have a series of dip switches and our wiring terminal block, and then a couple of jumpers. One thing that I do want to point out, some calls that we get quite a bit is when someone gets out into the field and they realize they want to use this device in a non-monitor application for whatever reason. That's totally doable. All they have to do is move the jumper terminal on the 10K resistor. So what you're going to do is there's a jumper terminal on the back on the 10K resistor. It's very hard to see right now, but you're just going to move that jumper over to pins 1 and 2 when you want it to be in a non-monitored application. So in installment, alignment, and reliability. This is going to be very important. I think some of you guys might learn some stuff that you might not knew before on this sensor. So we're going to go ahead and walk you through how to set it up in the most reliable application. So we call this the Hausch method. I'm not sure if anybody's heard of this before, but Bob Hausch has been with EMX for almost 30 years, and he developed this alignment method. So we dedicate it to him and call it the Hausch method. So a good install practice is always to find the center of the photoeye beam, because that's going to be your strongest point, and it's also going to prevent any type of unwanted service calls or callbacks later on the field for any type of false detection. And we do have a specific way to find that center. A good rule of thumb is after you get the photoeye mounted and set up and you have a good idea, line of sight on where you want to mount that reflector, we say to stay about 6 feet back. And what you're going to do is just find a detection and start walking 6 feet back. Keep that reflector kind of moving around a little bit to make sure that you keep having detection. And then you're going to want to, as you get to your area, you're going to want to start moving it around a little bit more. And once you get to the distance that you're looking for, you're going to want to take that reflector, you're going to want to move it up, you're going to want to move it down, and left and right. And what that does is you'll see the sensor going in and out of detection, and it'll give you the area of where you're detecting. So you'll be able to find true center. Typically, in the most average applications, you're probably at about a 2-foot diameter detection area. So you don't ever want to be on the edge of that. You don't want to be, too high or too low, because then you're not getting the full strength of the beam. So just good rule of thumb is to make sure that you find true center. So one step further that you can take to get the most out of the sensor, and going to trade shows, visiting job sites, riding along with different installers out there, we found that the guys that take the extra step to complete this step really minimize any callbacks they have in the field. So they reduce the time they're going to go out there. They're going to reduce the non-billable callbacks. by doing this one step. And we call this finding the ideal excess gain of 10.1. So this just ensures that you're getting the sensor set up to work in the most powerful condition depending on the distance that you're at. So first thing is, once you get the sensor set up and mounted, you find that true center. You're going to go ahead and get some painter's tape is what we recommend. And you're going to mask that tape off to about 1/10 visible of the entire reflector. So you should still be seeing reflectivity. So you're going to decrease the potentiometer to the point where the relay fails to operate and just increase it just slightly to where you get detection again. Remember that the tape is still going to be on at this point. So put the tape on, you reduce the sensitivity, you start cranking it up right till you get detection. And then you can remove the mask, the masking tape, and now you're going to be dialed in perfectly. That's exactly where you want to be to have 10-to-1 excess gain. So the other thing that guys do in the field that I've seen on ride-alongs that say that reduce their callbacks significantly is, especially when you're signed up for a quarterly maintenance schedule. If you have customers on a quarterly maintenance schedule, one good rule of thumb of practice is every time you're out there, wipe the lens of the Photoeye off, wipe the reflector off, spray both of them down really good with some Rain-X. And we found this to be a very, very helpful tip in the field to reduce any type of unwanted callbacks. So a lot of times, if you guys haven't tried this sensor yet, I really encourage you to do, because every time we're at a trade show, especially Fence Tech or IDA, or anytime I get to run into a job site out in the field or see something going on, we get a lot of great feedback from customers that go ahead and start to use this. They tell us their callbacks go down when they dial it in specifically, when they follow the actual practice of installing it with 10-to-1 excess gains, their callbacks drop down, and they realize that it works a lot better than anything else out there in foggy, heavy rain and heavy fog applications. One of the other things that you guys are going to find out is we do provide this product with a 2-year warranty. It's probably one of the best warranties in the business. When we get anything back, we inspect it to see, what could have gone wrong, and we get those turned around and back out to you as quickly as possible. So just to do a quick benefits recap, so a couple of things we talked about today on why you want to put this on your truck. One, with the kit, it eliminates any type of issues getting out in the field. You're going to have your hood, you're going to have your reflector hood, the reflector, your mounting bracket, everything is in one point. It's completely UL325 compliant. So in all your UL non-monitoring methods, your non-monitoring methods build on, and all your other UL monitoring methods are built on. It comes in a NEMA 4 closed enclosure, so it's great for outdoor applications. It's very robust. You can almost run this thing over. One thing to keep in mind though, anytime you're in the back of it, there is a gasket. So we've had some issues where, for whatever reason, the back was entered and wired up, and then somehow the gasket got lost or cut or misplaced. Always make sure that you have that gasket on that back door. Without that gasket, you're not going to get a complete watertight housing. And it does have the longest range in the field at a 60-foot range. So just a quick comparison. We've done this a couple of times to make sure, but as you can see, if you stack us up head to head with anybody in the field, you're going to see that we provide the most robust solution and the most powerful solution today. So one thing that we've come out here recently is the Photoeye Vault, if everybody's not familiar with it. So you don't really have to buy any accessories for the RET because everything comes in the kit. But if you do wanted to purchase one accessory, we do have the Photoeye Vault. It's a universal Photoeye Vault. You can put any of our Photoeyes in there. All the mounting holes and mounting screws are already pre-drilled in this vault. The RET fits nicely in there. Most of the time, customers that purchase this maybe just want some additional security, or they want the Photoeye completely housed, maybe so people don't know exactly what it is. There's a lot of reasons for having the Photoeye in the vault, but that is an additional product that we carry. If you guys have any questions, we'll have our contact number up at the end of the show here, so you can reach out to us on that. Q&A. So before we start the Q&A, I just wanted to go over some quick tips and tricks. Some of the stuff that we hear are most common issues in the field or tech calls that we receive on a daily basis. One of the biggest tech calls that we receive on a daily basis is they go out to the job site and they say, I know the sensor's powered up, it's getting power to it, but the green light is not on. Well, usually 9 out of 10 times, that's because jumper 2 and 4 are not in the correct position. So in your manual of the RET, you'll see where the 2 jumpers I'm talking about when you get out there, and you'll just have to move those jumpers 2 and 4 in bridge position pins 1 and 2. So that could be any reason. Maybe somebody was in there messing around with it and moving it around, but we do get that. It's a common call. So if the green, there's power to it, but the green light's not lit, check those jumpers 2 and 4. The other thing that we get is they go out and the green light's flashing continuously, even when there's nothing present. For another reason, somebody might have been in the back of that sensor. 9 out of 10 times, it's just the sensitivity is set too low. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to reset that sensitivity. I suggest doing the excess gain method with the painter's tape on there, so you're getting the Photoeye dialed in precisely for the distance and range that it's looking for. Those are the 2 biggest ones. Most of the other ones are pretty common sense, so I won't bring those up to you today. But I'm going to go ahead and open it up to Q&A, and maybe you guys have some stuff out there that I didn't talk about. I'd love to hear it. So we got a couple coming in, but remember, I believe you guys are all muted. That's by default. Any questions will be entered right into the chat box you have there. One question I get is where to mount this sensor. So anybody that's taken the gate installer school, the typical rule of thumb is within 5 inches of a moving gate panel, and then the beam should be 21 inches to 27.5 inches above grade. Well, everybody, I really appreciate your time today. We wanted to keep it short and sweet, introduce you guys to the RET. A lot of people weren't aware that it came in a complete kit. So hopefully you got a little bit of value out of that. Please feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions or any advice on if anybody's been using this product in the field and you have advice for improvements. We're constantly trying to improve our products on a quarterly basis. We can always make pretty neat adjustments in a timely manner. Because we have all of our engineering and design staff in-house in Cleveland, and we manufacture these units in Cleveland, we're able to make improvements and adjustments probably quicker than most out there. So real quick, I do have one more question, and that's a great question. Is there a reason to do a non-reflective type versus reflective? So your other option is to do a completely through beam Photoeye, where you have power on both sides. Our most commonly one used in the field is the MON. So if you were installing anywhere where there's maybe more severe weather applications or a new install where running power to the other side of the entry isn't an issue, we always recommend using a through beam photo device. There's not a retroreflective Photoeye out there that's going to perform as well all the time as a through beam Photoeye. So good common practice, if you can install a through beam Photoeye, that's the best way to go every time. For those areas that you're installing, you're doing an upgrade or you don't have the ability to run power to the other side, the RET is the most powerful retroreflective out there. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate your time today. Hopefully you got something out of it. And yeah, please, I welcome any feedback. So reach out to me direct. A lot of you guys know Darlene. Another good contact on here is John Minchek. He's our tech support person. So please feel free to reach out to him if you're out in the field. If you want to give this product a try, you can reach out to me directly if you haven't already used it, and we can discuss working something out. So everybody have a great day, and hopefully we'll see you out in the field at some point.